Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name is Preston and today we're back here with the news. Before we get started, don't forget to go on to our community tab and submit your deck list for a special Community Day Meta Monday video. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button. It'll help us out a little bit. Jumping into the news now, we are picking up where we left off last week with Big Mom Charlotte Lin Lin. She is a 7-cost, 8k power for Emperors. I'm reading the effect off of the One Piece TCG Discord. Links always in the description. Join the community. Super helpful to be part of this group. On play, your opponent chooses one of the effects below. Trash one life card from the top of your opponent's life. Put one card from the top of your deck onto your life. So we've been thinking about what Big Mom's going to be doing, and one of her big abilities is like life or death, life or treat, death or treat, however it's translated. And trashing your opponent's life or gaining life with some life recovery is very thematic and works well for this character. I hope there's not too much recovery in yellow because it makes it super toxic. It's already sometimes a challenge to get through 5 lives plus final damage. For your opponent to just be adding life repeatedly is going to be a challenge. So yellow's already looking pretty scary. Moving on to the Queen Mama Canter, yellow stage, a 2-cost, activate main, rest this stage. You may add one card from the top or bottom of your life area to your hand. Place one character that costs 3 on the top of the owner's life area face up. That's super interesting to me. It's super interesting that you would be able to continuously add life, another recovery card that gets a little scary when you start thinking about length of battle and being able to actually beat yellow decks. But you could also do it to your opponent and you would know the next card they're getting because it does say the top of the life. So that's the next life they're going to pick. So it's a really interesting way to send a 3-cost card off the board, get rid of something that's pesky, and then forcing them to play it again later if they have the opportunity. Super interesting. I'm excited to see more yellow cards. If this is what's coming out of the starter deck, I'm pretty afraid of. I'm getting more and more terrified, really, of what's going to be coming out of the set. The next card is a yellow Sanji. This Sanji, I believe, is coming out as a promo in either Shonen Jump or a V Jump or something like that. And it is the art that we saw pretty early. I'm pretty sure we saw this art in set 1 as they were hyping up the rest of the game. And we're finally getting it. He has, it looks like, just Vinsmoke family as his character trait, which is super interesting. Yellow, 3-cost, 4k power, with 1 Dawn attached on your turn while you have 2 life or less. When you have 2 life or less, this character gains 2k power, and it's a 1k counter. Super interesting. It would be a 3-cost 7k at that point. Not having Straw Hats is interesting, thematic but interesting, and we'll have to see how this works. A 3-cost card that you have to have 2 or less life seems very situational. But it also might just be that I'm super critical on Sanji. I didn't like the Rush Sanji in the starter deck. It might just be a Sanji thing for me at this point. Moving on, we have Jin. Jin, let's find his effect. Super interesting that we're getting the card effect art and alt art at the same time. Feels like they're kind of switching up how they're presenting stuff this time around, so we might get more effects than art this time. And they're also kind of mixing in the yellow starter deck stuff. It's super interesting to watch how they decide to present new cards as this game continues. Anyways, Jin is a green character, 4-cost, 5k power, East Blue Krieg Pirate. It's super interesting that the Krieg Pirates are in green right now, with the Jin reveal, because we saw Krieg in set 1 as a blue character card. So maybe Krieg is going to be a blue-green, or it's just going to be all green Krieg pirates. His effect is on play if your leader is East Blue. Rest up to two of your opponent's characters with 4 cost or less. Also has a 1k counter. That's a pretty exciting card to add to your green decks. You'll have to probably end up playing Arlong, or most likely the Krieg leader. I believe Arlong is yellow-green to get this effect. I also think it's interesting when they limit the archetype. We're seeing a little bit more of that right now, where you have to have East Blue, or you have to have a type. So this card's only going to ever be good in East Blue leader decks, but we'll have to see what they do with the rest of the game moving forward because of that. Let me see if I can pull up the next thing. We have Teach. Wow. Let me make sure I'm showing. Yeah, wow. This art is wild. Pivotal part in his story, and just a dark, super dark scene to portray in a card. Most likely going to be a Teach or Blackbeard character card. With this art, I can imagine it being just a disgusting effect. Moving on to one last thing on Twitter before we get to the One Piece website. There was a convention of some sort, and they revealed One Piece Odyssey cards that are going to be coming out in set 3. So we have 2 characters. I'll get their names from Discord in just a second. So these are Odyssey characters, which is super interesting. They have type Odyssey. The first character here is Lim, a red character at cost 3 and 2k power, with the effect of blocker. On your opponent's turn, when this card is KO'd, give minus 2k power to up to one of your opponent's leader cards or characters during this turn. Pretty standard for red. It's nice that we're going to get a blocker with this minusing effect, so that you have that defensive control. I think that's going to give red a really interesting feel to be able to incorporate these things more often. Considering the deck that's being played right now, I'm trying to think of where this card could fit in, since it's not a Straw Hat, so it's not searchable from Nami. It's not searchable by Dundon right now, I believe. So it's an interesting card that I hope gets a little bit more support so that it's playable in red. And then the other card is right here. This is Adio. That's what I'm calling him. We'll get a better pronunciation later. Red card, 4 cost, 5k power with trait Odyssey. Dawn ×1, so when one Dawn is attached and you are attacking, your opponent can activate blocker of characters with 2k power or less during this battle. 4 cost, 5k power, similar effect of the, I believe, starter deck Usopp. We'll have to see the Odyssey support. I hope we get some maybe Odyssey searchers or something to give us a reason to play this card, because with 5k power, it is better than the Usopp that I think starts at 2k. So he's swinging 6k and can't be blocked by 2k blockers. We'll have to see how the meta turns around on this, but that's a super interesting reuse of this effect. Okay, moving on to the official website. Just scrolling through, trying to find different things. They're already talking about February prelim championships with Ace as their flagman for this one. Not too much information on this so far. I did notice that there is one last December tournament that's going to be December 24th. So look forward to an update on Meta Monday for those top 2 decks after they get posted. Moving on, we got a little bit more information about the new Zoro alt art. That's the Rush Zoro from set 1 is going to be a winner illustration starting in February. That's really good information to have for when these cards start to show up in the US. They're going to be winter promos. I hope that it stays that way so that when we get around to it, we can get 4 gorgeous alt art Zoros. But if we scroll down here, we can get just a close-up of it. It has the logo that we saw on the Luffy and just a gorgeous border that I haven't seen on any other card so far, so it's really special. The art is incredible. And if we come down, we get the Queen. This is the blocker Queen from the starter deck. From what I've seen, a pretty pivotal card for that deck and a lot of purple decks. So being able to bring this gorgeous new art to a card that is already well played. Same thing with the Zoro. Having such a new fresh art that's going to be premium is super cool to be able to add to your collection or to run 4 of in your deck. Moving on, something that we're going to probably touch on in future Meta Monday videos or a special review of these. The One Piece website has posted 5 different decks that are recommended for introduction. So I really want to look into all of these and see how they match up against the current meta. They do have Magellan, which is super interesting. I really want to look at this and see how they expect Magellan to run, and when they were designing it, I think this is the deck they had in mind. So it's going to be super interesting to look at this and compare it to what people are currently playing and see if there's any spice that we can take out of that. Moving on to the English site, we got updates on the official playmat, updates on the deck boxes, and updates on the Treasure Cup. The most recent updates for the Treasure Cup are just these 2 playmats here. This is first and second place for the upcoming Treasure Cups at the beginning of next year. I believe it's the whole month of February. First place is the 4 Emperors mat. Second place is the 7 Warlords. Super interesting that they're just using our gorgeous art. I believe that's alt arts and some normal arts for these characters. Something that we don't know what's happening yet is on the Big Mom. Is this going to be our SR Big Mom from set 3? Considering we have our alts, our arts for everyone else. I believe that's the alt art of Kaido and the standard art for Shanks. So is this an alt art for Big Mom or what? The rest of it is just the 7 Warlords, the original 7. Kind of bummed that we don't get some of the later 7 Warlords added in here, but it's nice since we're still in like that Romance Dawn era to just show the original 7 on the playmat. I believe we've already gone over all of this, but yeah, these are the February tournaments that we've talked about. I'll get a link for in the description or in an iCard for the rest of the information in the video that we talked about this. All right, that's all the news we have for you this week. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe. And until next time, have a good one. Bye.